Back in 2020, when VTubing was still in its infancy and hadn't yet exploded into the massive industry we know today, a new star was rising in the Spanish-speaking VTuber scene, Asria. She wasn't just any VTuber, she had a story that pulled at people's heartstrings. She claimed to be a mute and disabled girl, the victim of a tragic car accident that took away her ability to speak. But despite her struggles, she was full of energy, passionate about streaming, and dedicated to giving back. Fans saw her as an inspiration, someone who refused to let her disability hold her back. Her community rallied behind her, donating money to help her afford life-changing medical treatments, and in return, she pledged to pay it forward, donating her extra earnings to charity to help others like her. To many, she was the proof that VTubing could be a place where anyone, no matter their struggles, could thrive. Except none of it was real. Behind the scenes, Asria was not who she claimed to be. Her disability? Fake. Her charity donations? A lie. Even her gender was fabricated. What started as an inspiring success story quickly unraveled into one of the biggest scams the VTuber world has ever seen. A deception so deep, so calculated, that when the truth finally came out, it shattered the trust of an entire community and has had lasting impacts on the VTubing industry and how outsiders view us to this day. And the worst part, she didn't just fool her fans, she betrayed her friends, catfished a lover, and manipulated other VTubers, as well as tried to destroy people's career just to stay on top. This is the insane story of Asria, the mute VTuber who scammed her way to fame, only to lose everything. Buckle up because this rabbit hole goes way deeper than you think. At first, nothing about Asria's rise seemed out of the ordinary. She started streaming in early 2020 and gradually built a following. Her numbers were modest but steady, sitting around 15,000 followers with an increase of about 50 subscribers per day on her YouTube channel. She marketed herself as a mute VTuber who had lost her voice in a tragic car accident during childhood. And using expressive body movement, sign language, and text-to-speech software, she engaged with her audience in an interactive manner. This helped her stand out among other VTubers in the Spanish-speaking community. But what truly launched her career wasn't just her content, it was the sympathy and admiration she gained from her tragic backstory. She would often say things like, "I started streaming last year, I've been using my account for 11 months, although I did take 2 months of hiatus, so it's closer to 9 months really. I tried to stream every day without fail unless I don't feel up to it mentally." And according to her, streaming was more than just a hobby, it was a mission. She wanted to make a difference, not just in her own life, but for others. I've learned that to grow on Twitch, it's not only about streaming, it's about putting in the effort to expand your influence, take opportunities, make friends, and start projects and make a difference. Her words painted a picture of hardworking and passionate creator, but the reality behind the screen was far more complicated. But everything changed in September 2020 when Drakeout, a well-known VTuber in the ESP community and briefly the manager of a popular VTuber agency named Owuzu, who's had his own set of controversy, made a video promoting Asria's channel. In this video, Drakeout shared Asria's story, presenting her as an inspirational mute VTuber who had overcome challenges to become one of the biggest names in the scene. The video gained traction, drawing massive attention to Asria's channel. Almost overnight, her growth exploded. What started as a small but steady audience quickly turned into one of the fastest growing VTuber careers in the Spanish-speaking community. With her rising popularity, Asria was hailed as a pioneer in both the VTubing space and the Spanish-speaking community. She credited her success to hard work, dedication, and engagement with her community. She said, "If my community grows, I'll grow too, and if I grow, I can help the community back. I don't really care about the money since those things always come to you if you put in the effort. You don't have to demand it." On the surface, her story was inspiring. She presented herself as a selfless creator, someone who worked tirelessly to provide engaging content, despite her supposed disability. "During my stream," she said, "I stand and move around for 3 to 4 hours. I try to make my streams as engaging as possible, letting chat control the experience instead of just watching me." A big part of Asria's appeal was the emotional connection she created with her audience. She didn't just claim to be a mute VTuber, she also told her fans that her life had been filled with suffering and hardships. She told her community that she lost her ability to speak in a childhood car accident, her mother had assaulted her when she was younger, and that she had severe medical issues that required expensive throat surgeries. So with this tragic backstory, she really stood out and managed to gain the sympathy of thousands of fans who deeply connected with her struggles and who wanted to support her because of it. With her newfound success, Asria decided to create a VTuber group called Humans, which stood for holographic units made for an amusement of the nation's satisfaction. She described it as a collaborative effort where VTubers could support one another, helping the Spanish VTuber scene grow as a whole. Thanks to her influence, Humans quickly gained traction and its members saw their own viewership numbers rise. She made it sound like a noble effort, one that would benefit everyone involved. I'm more motivated than ever to give it my all. I'm getting to know wonderful people and wonderful viewers that accept me for who I am. Her charisma and unique way of interacting with viewers made her seem like one of the most promising new faces of the LATAM VTuber community. Her future seemed brighter than anyone else's at the time, but little did she know her success would last less than a month. Indeed, despite her selfless image, cracks were already beginning to show behind the scenes. Asria was not the kind-hearted VTuber she claimed to be, as it turned out. Asria wasn't looking to uplift others, she was looking to eliminate competition. The first major sign that something was off came during a controversy involving another VTuber called NemuVT. NemuVT was one of the biggest Spanish-speaking VTubers at the time and got into drama when she accused a smaller VTuber, Sui, of stealing her model. While I won't get into all the details, this turned into a big controversy and Nemu received backlash from the community. But Asria saw this as an opportunity. Instead of defending her friend, she took this chance to ruin Nemu's VT's career. She sent detailed scripts to YouTubers encouraging them to attack Nemu and, quote, break her empire so other VTubers could rise. Basically, Asria was actively trying to take down one of the biggest names in the scene to benefit herself. Behind the scenes, she started making snarky comments about Nemu and even leaked private documents to multiple YouTubers. This was the first time people saw Asria's true nature, but things were about to get even worse. The backstabbing move shocked many in the community as Nemu was not only her friend but also someone who supported Asria financially. NemuVT had even previously donated $170 to Asria, but later claimed it was actually $250. And this was supposed to help Asria afford treatments for her throat condition. What Nemu didn't know at the time was that Asria wasn't even sick, but backstabbing a friend and donor wasn't enough for Asria. She continued to actively badmouth Nemu behind the scenes. But this was only the beginning of Asria's downfall. The biggest revelation was yet to come. As tensions escalated between the two VTubers, Nemu found herself reflecting on how she and Asria had first met. Something about it just didn't sit right. She started piecing things together and revisiting their earliest interactions, searching for an answer. And then, suddenly, it clicked. At the time before her and Asria had started collabing with each other, Nemu had received an email from what seemed to be a legitimate music label. The sender introduced himself as a producer, someone with industry connections who had taken a keen interest in the VTuber community. His message was simple, yet heartfelt. He had a close friend who was a mute VTuber, and someone he deeply admired and wanted to see succeed. That VTuber was named Asria. The so-called producer spoke passionately about Asria, describing her as a talented but overlooked creator who just needed a little push. He pleaded with Nemu to help promote Asria's channel, insisting that it would make her incredibly happy. But then, the message took an unexpected turn. The sender claimed to have a crush on Asria. He wasn't just a supporter, he was also emotionally invested in her success. His admiration for her wasn't just professional, it was also personal. And if Nemu helped Asria grow, she wouldn't just be doing a favor for a fellow VTuber, she would be making someone's dream come true. At the time, Nemu had no reason to doubt the legitimacy of the email. It was strange, sure, but she brushed it off as just another devoted fan trying to help someone they cared about. But now, looking back, something clicked. As she started connecting the dots, Nemu realized the horrifying truth. The email had been fake. There was no music producer and there was no admirer. It was Asria herself. She had fabricated the entire persona just to manipulate Nemu into a collaboration. From the very start, it had all been a setup, an elaborate scheme designed to guilt-trip Nemu into helping boost Asria's career. The revelation was shocking, but it also exposed something even more disturbing. Asria was willing to go to extreme lengths, even creating fake identities to get what she wanted. Shortly after this controversy, YouTuber Terry released an expose which would ultimately bring all of Asria's lies crashing down. Terry's investigation started when he discovered a suspicious payment while going through transaction records. He found that the email used for Asria's business payment was linked to another account called Shiro EDM. So Shiro EDM was a YouTube music channel with over 300,000 subscribers, supposedly run by a man from Mexico. Needless to say, the connection between the two accounts raised serious questions. When Terry dug deeper, he found something even more suspicious. The merch store linked to the Shiro EDM channel sold products featuring Asria's VTuber model called Roboneko. So this begged the question, why was Asria's model being sold through an account she had never publicly mentioned? But it got worse. In an old interview, Asria had claimed to be a manager for a discography and frequently used electronic music similar to the tracks uploaded on Shiro EDM. So there was a few recurring elements here. At this point, the evidence was undeniable, and Asria was connected to Shiro EDM, and the person behind both accounts wasn't a mute girl, but indeed a man. But the investigation didn't stop there. Terry found an official Facebook page for Shiro EDM, which claimed to be based in Tijuana, Mexico, the same country Asria was from. Even stranger, after a fan meetup, people created fan art of Shiro EDM's owner. And in every single drawing, the person depicted was a short-haired man. Then there was Asria's inconsistency about her backstory. She had told her fans that her car accident happened when she was 6 years old. This was something she repeated often and even had it in her Twitch bio. But later, she changed the story, sometimes saying it happened when she was 10, 11, or even 12. In this tweet, for example, she claimed it was 12 years ago, and the constant contradiction made it fairly obvious that she had made the entire story up. As the pressure mounted, Asria made one last-ditch effort to salvage her reputation. She decided to prove her identity by doing a face reveal on stream. The idea was simple. If people saw her on camera, they'd believe she was telling the truth. When the face reveal finally happened, audiences were momentarily convinced. After all, the girl featured on stream was cute, and she was even wearing an Oculus headset, which is something Asria had used in her streams. Her fans breathed a sigh of relief. But it also meant that the YouTuber who had done an expose on Asria, Terry, started getting a lot of heat due to his video and ended up privating his video on Asria. But then, in a monumental plot twist, audiences found out that instead of actually showing herself on camera, Asria had actually gotten the help of one of her friends to pretend to be her. And how was this discovered? Well, Asria hadn't properly briefed her friend about what was truly going on. Probably because if she knew, she wouldn't have accepted to go live for her in the first place. So after learning about all of Asria's accusations and fraud, the same friend allegedly ended up spilling everything to Serpias, who was Asria's longtime online boyfriend, who went public with all of this information. And that's when another layers of lies unraveled. Serpias had been romantically involved with Asria for over a year, believing he was in a relationship with a mute disabled woman from Japan who had suffered immense trauma. To make the relationship seem real, Asria had sent him intimate photos, which she claimed were of herself, but when everything fell apart, it was revealed that all of those images were actually brought from Fiverr. Serpias even tried to reverse search the images on Google, but nothing came up. They weren't linked to any public profiles, which only made them seem more authentic. And that was intentional. Asria specifically chose those images that couldn't be traced back because they weren't hers to begin with. Serpias had never actually seen Asria, as they were online dating, and he had been in a relationship with a completely fake persona from the start. So for over a year, Serpias had unknowingly been in a relationship with a man. And when Serpias finally learned the truth, he was devastated. He had spent months emotionally invested in a person who didn't even exist. What's sad is that the internet, being the internet, had a lot of people made fun of Serpias once the truth got revealed. It's also been said that Serpias made a response video, but most of the footage of his reaction has been lost or deleted. To this day, there's no confirmed archive of what he said. However, he does end up commenting on the situation via tweets later on. But what we do know is that he was one of Asria's biggest victims. And unbelievably, Asria still wasn't done. When Asria finally confessed, it wasn't just an admission of guilt, it was the confirmation that every rumor, every accusation, and every suspicion about her was true. She had fabricated everything, including being a disabled mute woman, she could speak the entire time, needing money for inexpensive throat surgeries, there were actually no medical bills, being a victim of sexual assault, a fabricated trauma for sympathy, losing her mother to unknown circumstances, her mother was never dead, and hosting charity streams for hospitals and disabled individuals where all the donations went straight into her pocket. In her statement, she said, "Good morning, everyone. The truth is, I want to say sorry to the community, the viewers, and VTuber followers in general for this polemic that I incited with some of my actions. I know my actions were not the best ones, and at the end, everyone commits error, and I know this is not an excuse worth solving everything I did. I appealed to desperation, and I really want to promise that I'll change what I say and the things I'll do from and then, because I'd like that this community grows in a healthy way and without toxicity, improving communication and all those little things in order to evade more problems in the future that might hurt the community. If I'm honest with you, I feel like this is an escalating too much even when we have more important things to take care of. That's why I want to apologize, because due to this polemic, Ayako Mizuki, a VTuber that got hacked and her channel got taken down, nobody cares about it until it was too late, and I feel responsible about it. I'll never stop supporting the community, and I don't think I'll ever do. I'll take actions out of these topics because I want to improve everything for everybody's sake and supporting this cute community. Thanks everyone for your support." While Asria states in their statement that they want to change their behavior moving forward, they also seem to believe that the discussion surrounding them has been blown out of proportion, as if their actions weren't a serious issue. Additionally, they attempt to divert attention by pointing out that another VTuber's channel was hacked, a situation they claim has gone unnoticed due to the controversy around them. This comes across as an attempt to shift blame into the audience for focusing on their deception. Meanwhile, for over a year, her fans, friends, and even her own boyfriend has been living inside her lies, or should I say, his lies. But let's be real, if you didn't want people talking about your lies and catfishing, maybe you shouldn't have done it in the first place. And so, within a single day, Asria's entire act had collapsed. She had confessed everything in a Twitter post and later deleted all of her social media accounts. So now it was official, Asria was a fraud. But wait, there's more! After everything fell apart, Asria attempted one final act of damage control. He came back and posted a video apology, though most footage of it has now been lost or deleted, and this greatly upset many of his former victims who took to Twitter to voice their frustration in the matter, seeing the person who hurt them attempt to come back once more. The boyfriend he catfished, Serpies in particular, tweeted a slew of comments. "I have a lot of anxiety. I have to talk about this, but I don't want to. But if I don't, people won't stop bothering me. I feel too uncomfortable with everything. I'm not looking for any of this. I'm a positive person, but this is too much for me. I can't even sleep alone. I can't even read his name. For a week now, I've been anxious because a person who returned has made my life miserable for many months. But this has been unbearable for days now. It's either do this or leave forever. I can't find any other way to free myself. I tell you from the heart, I don't want any gossip. This life is shit. I come to the internet to have a good time, not for these kinds of things. I've been thinking about how to free myself, but I think the best way is to write this from the heart and be honest. Yes, I know I'm always an ironic and sarcastic person, but this is serious and I might get haters, or I don't know, they'll laugh at me and how I feel, but please, I'm asking all of you, have I ever done anything bad to you? I always try to be the best to everyone. Once I write this, I'll be going on vacation for a couple of weeks, although I'll delete this. It hurts me to put it there, and I'm sorry for venting publicly, but if I don't tell everyone, this won't stop. People will keep bothering me, and I know that many of you will be able to understand and empathize with me. The damage you have done to this community is immense, and yet you come back because it's, quote, it's my happiness. end quote. So the rest of us have to eat your garbage? You're just selfish. Does someone with depression behave like this? Does someone with depression come to their problems where they hate them? You're a selfish person. I feel bad that you cry and lie to us all by making up serious things like depression. Someone with depression doesn't go back to a place where everyone hates them. You yourself know that you have an ego big enough to feel proud of everything you've done. You yourself said in the video that I'm the one who knows you best, and it's completely true. That is why you can't fool me. You yourself said that you're an expert in manipulating the masses. It is not possible that 2 months ago you laughed at me publicly in that interview because you knew that you were going to. Your channel where you showed your face, which according to what I was told failed, and now you're back to the same shit, seeking pity all because you want attention. I would be ashamed if my fame was built on the basis of making me pass myself off as a disabled girl or a handicapped girl. The best thing is that you feel proud. That's why you showed your face, so that they can see you, that they can see the genius. It was thanks to your friend that all of this stopped, because you were going to start a business with her, which you proposed to her. You proposed to deceive your followers by pretending to be disabled. You apologized to those who are convenient for you because you didn't apologize to me. You tell me that I took life with humor and that it is not to traumatize me. Everyone know how in love I was with a little Japanese girl, mute, whose life had given many obstacles and who overcame them. I have never been in love with a psycho scammer, so please stop with the memes about that person towards me. Since he appeared again, they have affected me a lot. I have no motivation to enter Twitch because he is there. I don't even know why they haven't shut down his account. Clearly, this is what you were looking for, to go back up in numbers. You only care about that. You don't care about the method or being hated. You only care about you, and you. I hope people open their eyes and see what you are. If you can say that your mother is dead, or that you were or that you were sold your body for money and 1,000 other things, then you can fake cry and make 1,000 trash things up for 100 viewers. You have no morals, no empathy. You're a sad and empty person. Even if you have 1 million people following you, you will always be remembered as the man who liked to pretend to be a handicapped girl. Please, it affects me a lot. It's not because of morbid curiosity. It's not because of hate. It's so that this harassment towards me stop. Respect me and don't mention it. Don't even pay attention to it. Just let it go by. And I repeat, I want the best for everyone. I try to be a good person. Thank you and sorry. And Nemu, especially angry, responded to Serpia's tweet as well, saying, "It's disgusting. He really did too much harm to everyone and they forgave him as if it were nothing. It's unbelievable." I saw the comments on his YouTube channel and his apologies, and people supported him fully. And that guy ruined me in a lot of the controversy, and because of him, they still don't get over it. I also managed to find some tweets where the hate is clearly starting to get to Asria. There he says, "I just want to live. I haven't done anything to deserve this. If only you would listen to me. I just want the best for everybody. I just want my dad to be proud of me. I just want to be an inspiration. I just didn't want to give up." But unfortunately, people didn't buy into his pity tweets, and he still continued to receive an immense amount of backlash. So instead of disappearing, he tried to make another comeback, and this would be the start of multiple rebrand attempts. This time, he dropped the act completely. He no longer pretended to be a girl or mute. At the same time, he claimed he refunded all the money he had scammed. According to Asria, he had paid back Nemu VT, who was refunded $250, and a mute fan who had donated to him, believing he was also mute. But this also wasn't true. The mute fan, in fact, never got their money back. In this screenshot, Drakeout is acting as a middleman between the mute girl and Asria, and it confirms that Asria did not refund her, and the mute fan has stopped streaming because of it. Asria also noted that they became better and they encouraged the mute girl to start streaming again. And while Nemu VT did get refunded, Asria messed up so badly that he sent the money to the wrong email address. To make matters worse, he publicly posted the email he sent it to, thinking it was Nemu's personal email. Rather than proving his innocence or re-establishing some good faith between him and the community, this only made him look worse. Asria then tried to move on from the backlash by rebranding once again. They privated their Twitter account a second time and victimized themselves in a post to their followers. One of the things I've learned on Twitch is that people fall for the sensationalism of YouTube very easily. Please don't do this. Don't force people to do what I do. I'll stop doing live streams for a while. Thanks. This time he had changed his name to Alexandrite and began streaming with his real face. But without the fake tragic backstory, people weren't so interested. He managed to do a few facecam streams, but his numbers were nowhere near what they used to be. And eventually, he faded away once again. But this still wasn't the end. Even after multiple failed comebacks, Asria refused to give up on VTubing. Unable to escape his bad reputation in the Spanish-speaking VTuber community, he attempted to reinvent himself, this time for an English-speaking audience. Under the username of Alex or Kyle, he abandoned his previous identity and even had some attempts to facecam without his VTuber model, but it didn't really work. Eventually, he joined the uwu.tv VTuber agency under the name of KoroYN, where he attempted to stay away from the drama as much as he could. Ironically enough, Koro would often comment on drama and even would advise others with bad reputation to keep on going, claiming people forget about drama within a week or two. Here he responds to another VTuber stating, "Believe when I say that people will probably forget that kind of drama within 1 or 2 weeks. Keep focusing on what you love and keep believing whatever your goals are. We often stop doing what we love for worrying about things that most likely won't happen." uwu TV itself was a controversial agency, though most of the drama surrounding it wasn't directly related to him. As KoroYN, Asria returned to silent VTubing, making very similar content to what he had done as Asria. This time, it was unclear whether he still pretended to be mute. Some claims he was at least honest about being a man, but there isn't enough archived material to fully confirm this. For a while, it looked like the rebrand might actually work, and KoroYN found some success on Twitch, though he never reached the level of fame he had as Asria. But his past wasn't forgotten. The YouTuber Terry, who had previously exposed him, made a second video about KoroYN, revealing his past to the new audience he had built. With the truth out in the open, KoroYN was forced to address it once more. He posted a video confession explaining his past actions to his new community. It's unclear how his audience reacted, since most of the channel's archives have been wiped and the new archives have comments turned off, but not long after, uwu.tv collapsed due to unrelated controversies, and Asria, now KoroYN, was left adrift once again. He continued streaming for a while, but without the support of an agency and with his past constantly following him, his numbers never took off. Eventually, he faded into obscurity once again. So around that time, Asria made one last attempt to profit off his VTuber career. He sold his original Roboneko model and his account, as I gather from the screenshot, to an account of a Spanish VTuber named GU Flowers, who was fully aware of the controversy behind it. GU defended the purchase, claiming that having a model with a background is going to help me and boost my career. But shockers, this plan didn't really work out. GU never gained any major success and eventually quit both YouTube and streaming. And with that, the internet thought Asria's legacy was officially over, or so they thought. Eventually, Asria returned to his original IP after his long hiatus on that account, and many failed rebranding attempts. He issued one last apology, but it was the same one he had already posted on Twitter, which people were quick to notice that it was just a copy-paste of it. He read it on stream in an attempt to move past the situation, but by that point, nobody believed him anymore. But rather than showing genuine remorse, Asria later mocked the entire situation and tried to make a joke out of it. In a video from one of his comeback attempts, he laughed at his critics and made fun of the backlash, acting as if the controversy didn't really matter. This attitude only cemented his reputation as a scammer who never truly took responsibility for his actions. Indeed, Asria was always open about being from Mexico, but painted a tragic story of having a rough life as a disabled person. He frequently asked for donations from both his community and personal friends, claiming he needed money for medical expenses that didn't actually exist. In reality, this was a new behavior for him. Asria once admitted that before becoming a VTuber, he would frequently pretend to be a girl online to get free things, most specifically through this game he played called Terra. He admitted admitted all of this in an interview with a content creator named Kaguya, and the exchange goes as this. Kaguya, the interviewer, asked, well, the main questions are, what besides the inspiration led you to do all of this VTubing? What led you to make the character with a disability? How did you end up with the disability? Was it intentional to be like this all of your life, or was it going to come out at a certain point? Asria/Kyle responds, this goes back a long way. I swear this goes back a long way. Kaguya, how long ago? Asria/Kyle, since 2013 because I played a game called Terra. Kaguya responds, Terra Online, okay. Asria/Kyle's responds, yes, Terra, and at that time I said to myself, wouldn't it be funny to play as a female character and pretend to be a woman? And when I did it, dude, I did it just like that. But before I knew it, I already had a bunch of friends and I was so stupid. I told some of them that I was a dude, and the closest one I told them that I was a dude, but others still had their doubts. And so I continued like that for a bunch of years, and now in 2019, when I started my channel. Kaguya responds, yes, like in the month of July, no? Asria/Kyle responds, yes, that's when I said it. That's when it became easy for me to continue with the lie. But there was the problem that you need to talk there, and I couldn't say, I can't, I'm shy, ha ha ha. I mean, because people weren't going to believe it. But I was stubborn. Even though I wanted to continue with the lie, well, there, I told myself, how do I convince people that I'm a woman? And I used disability as an excuse. So there we go. Asria's lie finally explained. On top of that, Asria was found to be scamming for equipment from multiple previous lovers. Indeed, they would buy Asria things or send money, one of them being the purchase of the infamous Oculus headset he later used for VTubing. And even when he rebranded as Goro YN, Asria implied that he might be transgender, which many speculated was another attempt to gain sympathy. But beyond just scamming people, Asria also had a habit of tearing down other VTubers to boost himself. He trash-talked other VTubers, including his own friends, in an attempt to destroy their reputation. Beyond what was previously talked about in the video, there were also claims that he had organized fake charity events, claiming to raise money for hospitals and disabled individuals, but the donation went directly into his own pocket. One YouTuber did claim to have seen evidence that some donations were actually sent, but there is no concrete proof confirming this. Asria later admitted to taking inspiration from the Italian VTuber Chromia for his Robo Neko model, but was completely unapologetic about it. When people were speculating that he ripped off the model, he sent the VTuber a super chat saying, Chromia is the inspiration for the Asria model, and the avatar has free rights so anyone can use it, and that people should stop attacking Asria. One other manner where Asria was exposed for trying to pity bait in an obnoxious and vile manner was when he even claimed to be an Asian girl sharing photos of a throat scar to convince his friends of his story. But later, it was also revealed that the image was a flipped and photoshopped picture of a random Asian girl. Seriously messed up. So where is Asria now? Asria's final attempt at redemption failed, and after having all of his lies exposed and after struggling to gain traction over and over again, he finally quit streaming for good. At the end of the day, the Asria controversy isn't just about one person lying. It's about the damages these lies cause to the entire VTuber community. When someone fakes a disability, a tragic past, or their identity just to gain sympathy and money, it hurts real disabled VTubers, real struggling creators, and the trust between fans and streamer. How many times have we heard there's a 30-year-old dude standing behind this VTuber avatar? VTubers already have so many people doubting who they are and what they are that we don't need more of this. We already see people questioning the legitimacy of disabled VTubers as well, assuming that anyone who uses a VTuber avatar is being dishonest about who they are. And this kind of situation only fuels harmful stereotypes and makes it harder for genuine creators to be open about their struggles. And that is why stories like this need to be called out. Not to create negativity, but to ensure that the people who exploit sympathy for personal gain don't ruin it for everybody else. So shout out to my Discord server for submitting this story. If there's a topic you would like me to cover in my next video, or if you would like to join us to talk about anything VTuber related, join our Discord server at discord.gg/Rima. We have a lovely community who likes to yap a lot, and we have weekly events. And if you want to have your name immortalized at the end of my next YouTube video, check out my Patreon or join the membership to this channel for some awesome perks. In the meantime, like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell if you enjoyed this deep dive. More VTuber commentary coming soon, so stay tuned. There's her hair in my mouth. What the fuck? She claimed to be a mute and disabled girl, the victim of a tragic car. She claimed to be a mute and disabled girl, the victim of a tragic car accident. I will say this. Nation's satisfaction. She described it as a collaborative effort. Where VTubers could support one another. Shortly after this controversy, YouTuber TXRE. How the fuck do I say his name? Shortly after this controversy. And that one is another whole messed up rabbit hole I'm about to get on into a sec. And that is one. How do I say this? I'm just gonna remove this sentence. Oh wait, I forgot to wait 10 seconds for the glitch. Starting over.